Hey, Kerry Sullivan here with day number 14 of how to kick ass on my 99-day video challenge. And today I'm going to tell one of my all-time favorite stories about Sylvester Stallone. Originally, I heard this story by Tony Robbins, and it was just really about how to persist and kick ass, and it's a true story, so it's awesome. So Sylvester Stallone, when he was a young kid, he had a tough childbirth, and a lot of people don't realize that's why his face looks a little bit different, and he talks a little bit different, than other people, and he gets made fun of for all the time. And the reason was because when he got pulled out by the head by a pair of forceps. Well, and that kind of just, disfigured his skull a little bit there. So what happened was, as a kid, he decided, he was going through adversity and whatever, and he decided that, he wanted to be an actor. And the reason he wanted to be an actor was so other people could see, feel, experience, and listen to really inspiring stories on film, and he really wanted to just help to up-level people that way. So he wanted to become this actor, and at a young age, he decided to go out for this, and he went to person after person after person, group after group, agency after agency, looking for an acting job, right? And he just got denied over and over again. He went to the same casting people and agencies 5-6 times in a row, and every time they're like, you're stupid, you can't talk, you're too short, you look dumb, just give it up, don't do this, it's not worth it, you're never gonna make it. But he persisted, right? He just kept going at it and at it and at it. And so one day he decides, you know what, I don't care what these people say, I'm gonna sit down at this guy's desk and I'm not leaving until I get an acting job. So that's what he did. He walks into this office of this agent, and it's the last person this agent was going to see for the day, 4 o'clock, and he says, look, you've been here before. Just get out of here. It's not going to work. And Sylvester Stallone says, you know what? I'm not going anywhere until you give me a role. And the guy goes, it's not happening. I'm going home. So Sylvester Stallone says, you know what? I'm going to stay here until you give it to me. He goes, you can stay as long as you want. I'm going home. So he goes home. Next morning, he comes in. Sylvester Stallone stayed the whole night there, and the guy goes, come here. He's like, I'll give you a job. So he gave him his first acting job, and it was a job that most people wouldn't want. He actually got beat up, and he was in a movie for 20 seconds, and it was a role of him just getting the snot beaten out of himself. And he went on to get 3 other roles like that, but it just wasn't working, right? He's like, okay, I gotta switch things up. And, he was dead broke. He was married at the time. He had so little money, that he actually took his wife's jewelry and sold it for money without her knowing. Well, she found out eventually, and obviously that's probably like nails to some woman here, and that it probably wasn't the best thing for a relationship, right? So his wife's pissed off at him. It's in the middle of the winter. It's cold out. They don't have enough money to pay for the heating, so they're both freezing. His wife's screaming at him about it. And so he's out one day walking on the streets, and he just wanted to go somewhere where he could get warm. So he goes into a library. Reads a book on Edgar Allan Poe, right? And his story really inspired him. And he started thinking, maybe I'm going about this all wrong. Maybe I should start writing, and maybe I can get myself into films like that. So he wrote one script, and he sold it. The guy liked it. He sold it, and he got, $100 for it. Well, that $100 didn't go that far. And so eventually he needed more money. So he's like, all right, I got to do something to get this money. And it was one of the darkest moments in his life, right? So he had a dog, and at the time his dog was his best friend, right? Because he's going everywhere, and everyone's telling him he's stupid, he looks stupid, he's feeling horrible. But he's got this dog, and this dog gave him unconditional love, right? It was like the only person that loved him at the time. His wife was screaming at him and everything, right? And so he decided that he needed to go and sell his dog for money because he had no other resources. So he goes to a liquor store, stands outside the liquor store, and he decided that he was going to sell his dog for $50. And some guy came up, he's like, all right, I'm going to buy this dog from you. And he sold the dog, though, for $25. And he said that was the lowest I'd ever felt, right? He sold his best friend for $25, walked away, and he was crying, right? He said it was just horrible, right? Well, 2 weeks later, he's watching this boxing fight, and it was with Muhammad Ali and some other white guy, and the white guy is just getting pounded. His face is a bloody mess and everything like that, and Sylvester Stallone's watching this film, right, and he's like, I'm getting an idea, right? The wheels start turning. He's like, I feel like, you know, I could do something with this, right? So he goes out and he writes 20 hours straight. For 20 hours straight, he writes up the movie Rocky, right? So he's like, all right, this is going to be it. So he starts going after to all of these people who pick up the movies and they write them. I don't know if it's movie companies or whatever, but he's going to all these different agents and whatever, and everyone's telling him the same thing. They're telling him that it's stupid, it's sappy, it's predictable, no one's going to like this, and he persists, and then boom, right? He finds this one group, and they really like what it is. They're like, all right, we like this. We want to buy this script off you for $125,000, and we'll take it from you. And Sylvester Stallone goes, okay, that's great. That's great. And he goes, but here's the deal. I got to play Rocky. And they're like, absolutely not. You can't act. You can't talk. You look like an idiot. You're not big enough for all these things. They keep telling him it's absolutely not happening. He goes, okay, no deal. All right, so he's dead broke, right? He had to sell his dog, right? And they're giving him $125,000, and this is like, I believe this is like in the 70s. So that's a lot of money. Back then, it was like a ton to him too, because he had no money. So he leaves it on the table. Company comes back to him a week later, and they offer him double, $250,000. Sylvester Stallone's like, great, all right, but the deal is, I have to be the actor. I have to be Rocky. And they're like, nope, no deal, not happening. So again, they come back again, right? They offer other $100,000 on top of that. So they're at $350,000. Sylvester Stallone says, well, he goes, if I can't act in it, it's not happening. They're like, well, we're not doing that, so there's no deal, right? So he walks away from $350,000, okay? And then they come back to him again, and they go, all right, here's the deal. We'll give you $35,000 for the script. You can be in the movie. We're taking no risks on this. You're not getting anything else. You're not getting paid for your acting or anything else. And he got, I believe, you know, there's royalties involved in that. And he goes, all right, deal. We'll do it, right? So he gets $35,000. First thing he does, he goes back to the liquor store where he had sold his dog. And he's like, all right, I got to find this guy. I got to find this guy who I sold my dog to. So he finds the guy, all right? He stood outside the liquor store for 3 days, right? 3 days, 3 consecutive days. He came back. The third day, the guy walks by. He's like, whoa, sir. He's like, look, you know, I sold you my dog. I was in a tough place. He goes, you know, I'm sure you can understand. He goes, I know you bought it for $25, but I'm willing to give you $100 to buy the dog back. And the guy goes, no, absolutely not. This is the best dog ever. There's no way you could convince me to sell this dog. And so they went back and forth, and eventually they cracked the deal. And here's what the deal was. Sylvester Stallone bought his dog back for $20,000, right? And the guy who he bought the dog from also got a role in the movie. So the guy got $20,000, starred in the movie, and the dog was also in the movie. The dog was his dog in the movie as well. I can't remember what the dog's name was in Rocky now, but that's what happened. That movie got picked up for $35,000. They only spent $1 million to actually make the movie, and it grossed like $200 million in the first year. You know, obviously Rocky's one of the all-time great movies out there of all time. So that is the story of Sylvester Stallone and Rocky, and awesome example of how to go out there and kick ass, and that's what Sylvester Stallone did there. And I wrongly judged the guy because I always thought he's, you know, some like roided up macho man type of guy, and he really wasn't, and he really isn't. And so I got all the respect in the world for that guy, and great example of how to kick ass. Sylvester Stallone, maybe someday I can shake your hand and say thank you for giving us those inspiring stories and showing us how to get it done. So that's it. Hey, if you like this video, feel free to share it. If you got any comments or questions, feel free to put those below. And I will talk to you guys all mañana on the next video. See ya. Bye-bye. Peace.